be paid right behind Patrick Mahomes. Can I get a Super Bowl champion, please? Because I need one for this discussion. Can somebody make that happen, please? There we go. Rob Ninkovich, good to see you. What's going on, Rob? Actually, two-time Super Bowl champ. Let me not forget what those Patriots did. Rob, we'll get to you in just a second. Stephen A., if this is true, that he wants to be right behind Patrick Mahomes, is he overplaying his hand?
You could say that he is, but I don't care. I think Jerry Jones has put him in that situation. I think that if this is strictly if they had a better relationship, if there was a better relationship that existed between Dak Prescott and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and VP Stephen Jones, I don't think this would be the situation. I think if they had treated him like Tony Romo, if they valued him more than they did, I don't think this is the situation. I think they reached an agreement 2 years ago and everybody's moving forward and we're not even talking about this right now. But because they played hardball, because they've constantly put Dak Prescott in a situation where they wanted him to show improve, regardless of what he did, when they made sure to take care of everybody and give them their market value, from the offensive linemen to linebackers like Jalen Smith, to wide receivers like Amari Cooper, to running backs like Ezekiel Elliott, to sit up there and then come to Dak Prescott and don't want to talk market value, and instead you want to define for him what he deserves, as opposed to him exercising his market value just like you did with the other players. You find yourself in this situation. And I think relationships, when we talk about the world of business and how relationships matter, this is one of those situations where it matters. If you were pragmatic and had a strictly business approach with everybody else, that would be one thing. If you had a personal relationship with other folks, and that's what it was, that's what it was. But to treat Dak Prescott differently, I think that's what this is about with Dak Prescott. You have tried to treat him differently. You've gotten away with it for 4 years. You're not getting away with it this time. Now I've got you over a barrel, and I'm loving it. I think that's what Dak Prescott is saying right now, and I can't say I blame him.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's not Dak's fault. It's not Dak's fault that Dallas did this. They put themselves in this position. Cowboys. This is a supply and demand league. You need a quarterback. You need a good quarterback if you want to win, especially. So a couple of years ago, they didn't want to pay Dak. And Dak wanted a, 4-year contract. He didn't want the 5-year contract. They could have potentially rolled out the red carpet for Dak a couple of years ago. But no, they didn't do that. They wanted to wait. They wanted to see things. Well, along that timeline, and they waited, Dak's value can increase and continue to grow and grow and grow. So it's not the player's fault. It's not Dak's fault that he's trying to get the most value in what he gives that team. And to be second behind Patrick Mahomes, I mean, it's that I don't take anything against Dak for trying to do that. Not at all. I mean, he's a football player. You have a very small window to make the most that you possibly can in the NFL. And look, it goes each way. The players, sometimes they have the advantage, and then most of the times they don't have the advantage at all. The teams take advantage of the players. So anytime a player has a chance to put the team over the barrel, I don't have a problem with that. Go out there, make as much money as you can, because in 15 years, there'll be somebody else that they're dealing with. But Dak will be sitting somewhere sipping a pina colada because he made $45 to $50 million a year.
Is Dak Prescott overplaying his hand? The answer is yes. But let's go back a little bit. Jerry Jones was the first one to overplay his hand. Drafted a guy in the 4th round. Dak was obviously a good player from the very beginning, and they kept him at $1 million, $2 million a year for way too long when they could have signed him to an extension earlier on, maybe for an upper middle class contract in the 20s, let's say, which you'd figure a guy early on making $2 a year would sign. They opted not to. They opted to wait till the 11th hour and then played him, not cheap exactly, but they played a little hardball with him. Like they gave him a Wentz-Goff kind of deal. Both those contracts were mistakes, by the way, as it turns out. And maybe even just a little bit less. Now, Dak, so they overplayed their hand early. Now, Dak, a couple things happened to give him real leverage. One, the NFC East quarterbacks are not good. And so the division became so weak that Dak offers you a chance, just by signing him, to host home playoff games. You get a home playoff game. More than likely, if Dak is your quarterback for the foreseeable future until they get some quarterbacks in the NFC East. So that's worth a premium. The other thing is, with Andy Dalton, you think, pretty good backup. They won't fall off that much because really it's a lot about the receivers and the offensive line. They fell off a whole lot offensively. So those things swung in Dak's favor. And now he has all this leverage. Is he overplaying his hand now? Yes, I believe he is. Because you can't, if you're the Cowboys, pay over $40 million a year for a guy and still hope to try to compete for a Super Bowl if that guy is not good enough to make up for other deficiencies. And the Cowboys have a lot of holes on this team. And the other thing that happened is Russell Wilson has said he's named the Cowboys as one of the places he'd agree to a trade to. And when Russell Wilson, who's better than Dak Prescott and relatively inexpensive, says that, it affects your leverage in the other direction. So is he overplaying his hand? Yes, I think Jerry did first. I think Dak is now. And neither side seems to sound to me like people who are trying to make a deal.
Well, listen, but that's the whole point. And if you're not trying to make a deal, why is that if you're Jerry Jones? Because you got to remember, if Dak Prescott is not trying to make a deal, it makes perfect sense. And the reason why it would make perfect sense is because, he's got the leverage right now. He's going to hold him over a barrel. He's got to come back from that nasty injury. And so we don't know how healthy he is or how healthy he will be in the immediate future. There's some question marks in that regard. Fair enough. But if you're Jerry Jones, what excuse was there? Because you've been acting like this. Dak Prescott wanted to do a deal 2 years ago. He wanted to do a deal last year. A matter of fact, according to the reports, we were told it really wasn't about the money. It was about the years. And let's take that and let's put that in consideration. And Rob, help me out here. So I got a quarterback, and this brother's thrown for nearly 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11. And I say that respectfully. I say that affectionately because I got a lot of love for J.J. Watt. But what I mean by that is this. You're going to the Cardinals because you believe in Kyler Murray? Well, then why the hell didn't you stay in Houston? Because we know you believe in Deshaun Watson. That's not the reason you went to Arizona. You went to Arizona because it's a better organization than the Houston Texans. You went to Arizona because it's probably going to be a better defense than the Houston Texans organization. You went to Arizona because you've got faith from an organizational perspective, the manner in which they're moving forward. You like that. DeAndre Hopkins is there talking to you about, what the organization is like and what their potential is. And, oh, by the way, it doesn't hurt. I understand, Max. It's not a state with no state income tax. It's not one of the 9 states in America that doesn't have any state income taxes. But the taxes in Arizona are pretty low.
23 mil.
That's right. People. That's right. 23 million guaranteed. 2-year, $31 million. But people that's living in Arizona are usually people that want that California weather without the California taxes. So they move close enough to Arizona where the weather's not quite identical, but it's close enough. And it's only like a 45-minute flight to L.A. if you want to, but you don't have to be that far removed from the weather conditions that exist in Southern California. That's what that's about. Now, J.J. Watt, that's not the most popular thing to say. That's not the thing that makes headlines. That's not the thing that makes you say, it just touches your heartstrings. Nobody's going to do that. So it's all right to sit up there and say, I came here because I believe in Kyler Murray. Excuse me, playing with your brother, TJ and Derek in Pittsburgh, that wouldn't have been bad. Going to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, that wouldn't have been bad. But it's cold. It's cold in Lambeau Field. It's cold in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The only thing they got there is Aaron Rodgers and cheese. That's about it, okay? And Milwaukee's about an hour away or so, all right, with the Great Freak. And J.J. Watt, he ain't trying to travel that much. Bottom line is, all I'm saying, I'm not saying he doesn't believe in Kyler Murray, but don't tell me that's the reason he's there. I came here because I believe in you. Stop it. You believed in Deshaun Watson. You still left Houston. We understand what time it is. It's that weather. You understand? It's with the weather without the taxes, all right? And it's probably where you're going to plan on retiring and chilling out once your playing days are over. So why not go there and get stuff settled down so once you decide not to play, you don't have to be looking for a new crib in your retirement days. You can do that right now. That's what this is about. Ain't about no damn Kyler Murray.
No, I think you're wrong on this. Look, you're saying things that may be true. You can check that off. Good weather, or at least warm weather, and all that stuff. But will you stop with these should go play with TJ and the Pittsburgh Steelers? And by the way, that's just